All right. As the time is now 7:02, we will go ahead and get started. So once again, my name is Kia Murphy. I am the director for the Department of Special Education Services, and I'm so excited to have all of you join me this evening. As always, we usually get started with introductions. I know that Amy Kropp is unable to be with us this evening. However, we do have Miss Wiles, and I'd like for her to go ahead and introduce herself.
Good evening, Diana Wiles, Associate Superintendent for the Office of Special Education. And thank you for joining us this evening. And happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And then for our SECAC co-chairs, I know that I did see Brooke Levy. So if we could begin with Brooke Levy.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke Levy, and I am, as Miss Murphy just said, I am one of the co-chairs for SECAC. I'm also the executive director of the Down Syndrome Network of Montgomery County, and I have 2 children currently in MCPS and one who's already graduated. So welcome, everyone.
Thank you. And I am looking for Miss Amy Bloom, if she is here.
Good evening. This is Jingfeng speaking. How are you?
We are well and happy to see you. I do want to just take a moment to say congratulations to you. I see that Montgomery County Public Schools has illuminated all of the good work that SEEDS has done. And if you would just take a moment to share a little bit about SEEDS.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. SEEDS stands for Special Education Equal Development Society. It's running under Chinese American Parent Association of Montgomery County. So SEEDS actually we try to organize free services to our special education families. So this including also kind of resources like, for example, Kung Fu class, dancing class, singing, and basketball, all those kind of activities that will help our students to grow, to develop. And on the other side, we also try to get involved with the young volunteers. So for both special education students as well as the young volunteers, I think they can, the young volunteers will help the special education students to do activities together. On the same time, I think we also see the growth of the young volunteers. They also learn how to love, how to be patient, and how to take care of the young peers, and how to grow confidently. I think that's also very important. So by doing that, I'm really appreciate the opportunity that SEEDS can be recognized. I think right now we are SEEDS Montgomery County. Our ideas and our how to say this, principles are also grows to or branch out to Howard County and Baltimore County. So we have SEEDS HC and SEEDS BC as well. So that's really something we feel very proud of. So I really hope we are a very big family now, and we hope everyone will know how to how to love each other, how to support each other, and how to grow together. I think that is something we really love to see. So thank you so much.
I'm actually already unmuted, so I guess I'll go first. Hi, everyone. I'm Amy Bloom. I'm sorry I was late. We have a puppy who is quite a handful, but very sweet. So if you notice me on and off, I apologize. Like we have a third child now. Anyway, thank you for everyone for being here. Welcome to any new members. Welcome back to our familiar faces. We have 2 boys. One is at Bethesda Elementary in 4th grade, and our older son is in 7th grade at Westland, where he receives special education services. And I'm really happy to say that we just had a really positive IEP meeting that went so well. We actually had to meet in 2 different, sessions. So I thought I'd share that because I know many of us often feel really discouraged and defensive. And so I know sometimes it's nice to hear the other side of things. Also, please keep the public testimonies coming. Please keep reaching out to us on email. We are all here for you. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Connie Nepomuceno. I'm not the art today, but I couldn't rename myself. But this is I'm using my work computer, so I apologize. Happy Autism Acceptance Month, everybody. I can't believe we're in April. We also have one more session coming up in May, and then we're done until next school year. I'm gonna miss everybody during the summertime. But I'm Connie. I have two kids on MCPS. One of my kids is receiving special education. He's in the Connections program. So I'm happy to be here. If you're new, welcome. We hope to see you again next month. And feel free to introduce yourself in the chat. But happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. We are also very happy to have you, and we're glad that everyone's doing well at home. So this is good. This is very good. And so Connie went ahead and opened it up and said Happy Autism Awareness Month. So I'm very excited that we are able to bring greetings and acknowledge that we are constantly building awareness, as we know that our population of students with autism has grown significantly over the years. So we will next turn it over to Mary Beth Matsuranis, who is our Family Support Services Coordinator, to give us some announcements.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm using my cell phone. Can I get acknowledgement? Yes? Okay.
Yes. Don't remember, it's only me.
All right. Awesome. So a lot of these are just reminder slides, but just that the parent involvement survey will be closing on May the 24th of 2024. And, it's really important to us for you all to complete it, because the state shares the results with us, and then MCPS in the Office of Special Education, we actually meet to go over the results and sort of figure out our plan. Like, what are we doing well? Where are the areas parents have acknowledged that they need some support? So your voice really does matter, and we would love to get your feedback. So we have the QR code there if you wanted to just take a picture of it right this second, or there's a link at the bottom of the page as well. But your opinion matters. So thank you. And then the next one is, so excited. The Special Education Family Resource Fair is quickly approaching. It's about 2 weeks away. Many of you know that we had originally chosen a date and realized that it fell during Passover. And so we wanted to make sure we were respectful of our Jewish community. And so we moved it several months ago to this date of May the 11th. And so it's from 10 until 1. It also came out today on the, things to know from MCPS. So that was great to see. We're having workshops. We've heard from a little over 20 outside organizations, like our community partners, that will be there. Plus we have offices, departments within the Office of Special Education. We have lots of great activities planned for the kids. We have some art activities. We have moon bounces. We have a DJ. We've lined up some food trucks for food purchases. So, and we'll also have an opportunity, just to, again, demonstrate the importance, a chance for you to complete that Maryland Special Education Parent Involvement Survey, because those results really do matter. But it's going to be a great day. We had a wonderful time last year, so I really hope to see you all there. We're working on something a little bit special. We're hoping to have some giveaways as well, like some raffle kinds of things. So come out, because you never know what they could be. And then finally, this next slide is just a reminder of where you can find information. If you go to the Family Support Center website, you'll find, all of the resources within special education. Then you'll also find like our resource bank of information. And we post flyers for upcoming workshops there. We also push them out on X and Facebook. So those links are there. And if you even went just to the special ed page for Montgomery County, you would also see up at the top on the carousel, you'll see any things that are happening in special ed. So please, hopefully I'll see you. Put on your calendars Saturday, May the 11th. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. As always, I'm looking for my partner, or our partner, Sharon Nortio from the rec department.
I am here.
Oh, yay. Sharon Norcio's here. All
Yay.
right.
And hi, Lori. You guys are so lucky to have Lori tonight. It's awesome. So hi, everybody. Very excited to be here. We had an Autism Acceptance Month at Wheaton Regional Park. A lot of families came out, super fun. engaging, gave out lots of information. So definitely we'll be repeating that with our friends from Parks and our other agencies there. Sensory story time was really awesome. So we're going to work on partnering with some of those people we met at that event to offer some more family friendly things coming up in the future. And as far as on our radar for the 15 and up crowd, we do have a dance this Saturday night at Holiday Park, open to all. And I can drop the link in as soon as I finish talking. And the other thing I wanted you guys to know is that May 3rd, which is a week from tomorrow, the summer guide will be out. And then registration opens on Monday, May 13th. So if you're looking at summer programs, we do have 3 family pool parties coming up at the outdoor pools. We are partnering with Autism Ambassadors to do some of those outdoor pool parties while we have take advantage of some of the quieter times at the pools. And then we also have some exclusive time at the pools. And so when we're doing one of them, I know that we have time before, and then it opens to the general public, and the families can either stay or not, depending on whether your family's had enough or whether they want to just stay and enjoy the weather. So that's awesome. The other important part with the May registration period is many parents call and say, swim lessons, I want to make sure my child is as safe as possible for summer because they absolutely love the water. And, you know, you can't take your eyes off them for a second. So there will be lots of opportunities to sign up for both indoor and outdoor swim lessons in those listings. And again, I can drop that in the chat after this. Summer camps, you know, moving along, working on those. We're getting really excited. Our staff training for summer camp, believe or not, starts on Tuesday of next week. We start with initial training of our career staff, and then it starts with the seasonals. So we're really excited to rev up for another great, safe, successful summer. And some of those will be full day programs and some will wrap around ESY. So we have options for lots of different people. And that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And I saw a message in the chat. I'm trying to find it. Miss Jessica Johnson is new here. So welcome, Jessica. I'm glad you could make it. And there's additional information about autism acceptance. We also had some information that we shared widely within MCPS to staff as well as families. And I was trying to find the link for that. I had it teed up, and of course I can't find it. But again, I do appreciate the information that's being shared in the chat. Do we have our other partner here, Kristen Letnick, or another member from her office from the Autism Society of Maryland?
Yes, I'm here, Kristen Letnick. Hi, everyone. And I appreciate your working with the technology, since that was an unfortunate incident before. But if anyone was here last time, or I think it was maybe a couple sessions ago, Melissa Rosenberg is the executive director of Autism Society of Maryland, and she put on a great presentation about what we do. And my name is Kristen Letnick. I am the resource coordinator for Montgomery County, as we recently expanded last year. So I just wanted to give a heads up of a few events that we have coming up. We were also at the Shine Brighter event, Sharon. It was great to see you there. It was very crazy. lots of great people, lots of wind. So let me see. We've had a chaotic month. We have a little more left for autism acceptance. So we have our Spanish parents group. It's like a Spanish support group that meets the first Monday, of every, third Monday, long night, third Monday of every month. And they're putting on their autism acceptance walk. It's a 3K walk, and that is actually this weekend, coming up on April 27th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's going to be at Centennial Park in Ellicott City. And I'll be putting all this information in the chat. And Catalina Ramos, our Spanish coordinator, would be the contact for that if you're interested in getting involved at the last minute. We also have our Autism in the Park with Anne Arundel County in Pasadena, Maryland, coming up just the following week on May 5th at 11 a.m., ending at 1 p.m. And that's just another opportunity to celebrate autism acceptance and inclusion. We'll have food trucks, face painting, a playground, yoga, and a bunch of, exhibitors and family-friendly fun. So that should be fun. And then we also have coming up on May 18th, our Bags and Beers Cornhole Tournament with Reckless Shepherd Brewing Company. That's going to be from 12 to 4 p.m. again on Saturday, May 28th. And you can have teams to participate in cornhole. It's a fun event, and all the proceeds will be benefiting autistic individuals and families in our counties. We also have our yoga every Saturday and our regular support groups that meet once a month for our families, as well as our Spanish support group that I had said, and we have some adult event activities too. But I will go ahead and include the upcoming events in the chat. I'll also include how you can join our monthly newsletter to get more information to kind of get those first updates. And I will also include my contact information for any questions you might have about resources for your family and any other autism families within Montgomery County. Okay, so I'll pop that all in the chat. And that's all for me.
Okay, so please do not worry if you're not able to pick everything up from the chat. We will send out the links. Once we get them, we collect them from the chat and we will send those to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Sharon and Kristen, that was a lot of good information. We're looking forward to those events. Okay. Miss Strobel, Jen Strobel, there you are. I see you. We are going to hear more about out of school time. I know in previous meetings, some of the activities were mentioned. So I know it was just recently, was it Earth Day?
Yeah.
All right. So talk to us about out of school time, and then some of the, I know interest was also in making sure that our children have appropriate supports, and just how you work through that would be very helpful.
Sure. So thank you so much for having me. As many of you know, I'm Jen Strobel. I'm the out of school time coordinator, and it's really, really good to see your faces and your names. It just brightens my day. I've missed you all so much, and I'm glad you're all still together. Stacy did ask me to talk to you about out of school time. And so the good news is we had a really fabulous year. The bad news is I don't really know the status of where we're going to be next year. So I will hesitantly tell you the answer to the question that I was asked about how to put supports in place and maybe how we could add anything for this year. But let me at least summarize what happened and tell you where I think we might be going. Derek, do you want to hit the next slide? Thanks. Okay, so in bold, you could see the big days that were the non-instructional days. My first day was October 9th. We started small. We didn't do anything really huge. November 1st, we had a student environmental day. January 29th, a college fair. Most recently on April 10th, we did a Grow Your Own Career Day. It was so fantastic. I brought my own kid because students had the opportunity to write a resume. They had the opportunity to go to tables and talk to employers and apply for jobs. And in fact, our very own Anna Whitebroad was there interviewing high school seniors. And we had an opportunity to practice interviewing and write resumes. And I know that I saw kids and they were walking around and they were like, oh my gosh, I have a real resume. And I took my nephew there, and afterwards we took him to the outlets and he went door to door showing off his resume. And it was just such a great pleasure to see the students really get something out of their day off. Yeah, they could have chosen to stay in bed, but they went and they spent their day with us doing all of this stuff to learn about careers, primarily ones that you could get out of coming back to MCPS. And as mentioned, we had Earth Day just on Monday, which I am literally still recovering from. You all know me. I am like still, it was so exhausting. We had about 1,000 people out there. And Habitat for Humanity was helping us. We are building an actual farm at Loiterman Middle School. If you live over there, you should definitely go check it out because it's the kind of thing where there will be farmers markets. We will be actually using the produce that we grow at Edison. So it's just a really great experience in being part of your community, and the students were extremely proud as they wheeled very heavy wheelbarrows on their day off. Like, how cool is that? All the while there were other activities going on in the background. Those are just like the big events that I was orchestrating. kids could, this is over, like I said, it's over. They could sign up for Kid Museum, Imagination Stage, hockey, Boys and Girls Club, Black Rock Center for the Arts. And then, of course, Recreation offers a huge program for Kids Day Out and Teens Day Out at many locations. So it's all over, but we did serve about 2,500 students on each of the days for free. They don't pay anything. It's a really great experience. Some of you, oopsies, go back, Derek. I'm still blubber blobbering. Some of the, some parents did reach out to me for supports. So I want to get into that right here. For example, there was a student that needed a nurse. No big deal. We got a nurse. Nurse came to the event. The student was not, it didn't prevent anybody from participating in a Kids Day Out activity. You know me, I would never. So, like at Earth Day, we did have a few people that asked for a one-to-one paraeducator to support their student to successfully get through the event. No problem. I paired the students up with the paraeducator and they seamlessly were able to also participate in Earth Day. They just had to reach out because, you know, on the registration, each of these, I mean, there's about 900 kids that sign up. They don't all show up. 900 kids sign up for each of these days. I don't know who's who. So I don't know whose needs. I really need the parent or caretaker to reach out to me and individually express what they need. And it's no problem for me to match them up with the supports that were needed. Now I'm ready, Derek. So here's just like a little bit of impact that I wanted to showcase. This first one is, you can see the boys at 480 Club. This was a winter break camp that we did. I went to it. And it was a lot of fun. And he asked them, just like I did at the beginning of the year, I asked you all like stakeholder questions about what you wanted out of school time. We did that with these boys while we also ate Subway subs and played basketball all day. And then you can see in the next one, this is a picture of the career fair. And then I had to throw in Kid Museum because everybody loves Kid Museum. And you can see that they were making really cool games and they were just really, really engaged. And it's just an opportunity. I mean, everybody could do what they were doing. It didn't matter if you were a great reader or if you were a struggling reader, you could make a game because there was a wall-to-wall craft supplies and you could just make whatever you wanted. It was a really cool experience. I didn't have a chance to put the Earth Day video in here, but if you get the 5 things to know that goes out in the text, you probably got it maybe a minute or two before you jumped on the meeting. In that, you can see in the 5 things to know, one of the 5 things is a video from Earth Day. You have to watch it because I'm in it. Okay, like that alone, you want to see me talking about Earth Day. And also you can see how awesome it was. Now under it, there's one more event. So it's not an out of school time day, but I have a vendor having like a big football clinic. So if anybody wants the link to that, it is in the 5 things to know in your email tonight. So you should be able to grab that link if you want to sign up. If you need any supports added, no problem. Now, the other days I had buses going from every single location. In this case, I will not have a bus from every single location. It's only a 2-hour football clinic. So pretty much people will either have to drive themselves there. It's offered through the 480 Club. So they're the same as the first picture here. So the fellas, those kids get a bus because they're like my crew from the 480 Club. So obviously I cannot have them getting a ride from their parents. We have to go together to that. So check out the 5 things to know if you want to see that last event, which is in May, which is a really cool clinic. All right, let's see what's next. Okay. This is this year. So this isn't happening in the future, but this year we had vendor-led programs at all of these schools and more. I didn't list them all, but the students that were able to participate at no cost after school 5 days a week were Rosemont, Veers Mill, Washington Grove, Galway, and Germantown. We're able to continue it at for sure at Galway, and I've written some grants, and if I get them, some of the other programs might continue. But we also had Roundhouse Theater, Story Tapestries, and like I said earlier, 480 Club, many other vendors providing no cost after school programming for our students so that they could engage in arts, reading, sports, Some of it is just like games and mentoring. It was a really very powerful to get to serve that many students. And I did walkthroughs. I'm not sure if I told you about that last time I was here, with a quality checklist, and gave feedback to the vendors if it wasn't up to where we would want it to be in this district. I have some 21st century programs. Daily in New Hampshire Estates get high dosage tutoring using Orton Gillingham. So they get tutored 3 to 4 days a week. The other days they're either doing recreation or theater. And then we have Watkins Mill, Wheaton, and we're adding Gaithersburg, and those kids get positive youth development and English language. So I invited schools to lead their own clubs. And so some schools, like I listed, they would just say to me, oh, I want to do a craft club. I want to do a dance club. I want to do a book club. No problem. As long as the kids aren't paying for it, I got you covered. And it was a really great experience. Unfortunately, you know, how ESSER is, all good things on ESSER kind of have to come to an end. I'm writing as many of these things into grants, but for right now, they're probably going to either slow down or stop depending on the status. And I'll let you know once I know, I'll let you know. All right, what's next, Derek? Okay, so this is the summer plan, you know, depending on where, you know, all of the grants getting approved. But I'm from doing the quality checks, I'm really impressed with Roundhouse Theater. I don't know if you've ever interacted with Roundhouse Theater. They're really cool. I just really like the way that they engage with our students. And so I am taking the program that was doing the high dosage tutoring over at Daily. Well, okay. So Innovation Learning is one of my vendors, and they use a computer-based program, sort of like iReady. So we're going to do that over at Strathmore, Veersmill, Oakview, and Brookhaven. Those schools were Title I schools, and they're no longer Title I schools, so they lost their ability to offer the summer program. So we're going to offer the same 4 weeks that kids get to go to summer school or ELO, you know, summer school. So the kids will get to go to Innovation Learning. And then we will also continue the programs that I was talking about that are the 21st century programs. They're going to be more camp-like. So instead of Daily, New Hampshire Estates, and Harmony Hills sitting and doing like high dosage tutoring at their school, they're actually doing it at the vendor's place. So it's kind of cool. They're going to get to go to camp completely for free. And their teachers are coming to camp with them so they can get tutored. I mean, how awesome is that?
Hey, Jen, one of the questions I was asked is, how are the schools chosen for the out of school programs and services?
Okay, so that's a really great question. The schools were chosen. I worked with the community school coordinator at the time, and the schools that had the most limited budget were prioritized. So community schools are selected by the state because of their needs. And they are then given some kind of delegated budget through MCPS. Some of them had to use their budget to buy their own parent. PCC is a parent community coordinator. Anyways, they had to use their budget to pay for staffing. So they didn't have any after school programs at all. So we made a list in priority order of all of the schools that would need after school programming the most. That's how it was done.
Thank you.
Derek, I think there's one more slide. Okay, so this is the hope for next year. Because ESSER's ending, I just like wrote so many 21st century grants, and we're going to have high dosage tutoring. It will continue over at Daily and New Hampshire Estates, but we're adding those 4 schools that lost their Title I status. They're all still community schools, but because they're not Title I, they really still I still want to help them address the, you know, the supports they used to have that they won't have. I added a school to the Gaithersburg one, and then some of my vendors wrote their own 21st century programs. So, oh, I left Boys and Girls Club off. How rude. Boys and Girls Club will have a program over at Galway. Horizons has one. I think it's at like one of the flower schools. And then Identity has 2 in Gaithersburg. And those vendors write their own 21st century grants. So they pick their own partners. I didn't select them, so I'm not exactly sure. I could guess, but I'm not sure how they were selected. I don't think I have any more slides, but I'm happy to take questions.
So there was one in the chat that said, where's the link? But if I understood what you said, Jen, all of this has already happened. We're done for this school year.
Yeah, it's a wrap. And so the things that are going on in the summer and the school year are for students at those schools. If for some reason spaces open up in any of them, I'd be happy to let you know, Kia, so you can disseminate that information. But first, it always goes to like the host school that it's written to. The programs that we did on non-instructional days, those were open to everybody, and they were advertised in the 5 things. They were advertised on MCPS Instagram, MCPS Facebook, MCS, the X, and principals in Title I schools and principals in community schools got the link 2 weeks before everybody else. So students in those schools had an opportunity to sign up before anybody else did. And yes, a lot of them did fill up.
Okay.
So
thank you. Thank you. There was one other question, and I think you can walk with me on this. The question was, so on April 22nd, was it an instructional day or not? And I believe really what it came down to was it was initially a day off, but then we brought it back into the calendar as an asynchronous day because we needed to make up. But maybe was it that Earth Day had already been planned? Because in other words, what I think they're trying to ask is, how did that happen while we also had an asynchronous day of instruction?
yeah, and that's a great question because believe me, I was disappointed as you are. I mean, really disappointed that that's the date, but that's what the data said. The MCPS did a survey, and that's what the families and the caretakers wanted. They wanted to pick that day as their day back. So after I got over my sad feelings about it, I worked directly with some of the elementary schools, you know, Weller Road, Miss Mansuranis's old stomping ground. And we said to those schools in that cluster area, if you come, you don't have to do an asynchronous packet. So those students were exempt from their packet. It filled up in a hot minute. Obviously, it was really fun. The middle school and the high school students did not get freed up from their packets, even though I advocated for it. It was a no-go. So they did get SSL hours, and they did have 10 days to finish their packets or their assignments when they got home. And they did get home at 2. So they had some time to do their work, and then they had the next 9 days after that to do the work if they chose to come.
Okay. All right. Sounds wonderful. Thank you very much. And so what we will do is, depending on what you tell me as the months go on, have you back early in the school year so
Sure.
that everyone will have that information. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me. It was great to see everybody.
All right. Officer Reyes, I don't know, maybe we should put you back on mute just to play with you. Just kidding, just kidding.
I mean, that presentation is a tough act to follow. I mean, energetic at 7:37 after a work day. I mean, I gotta Amy and I have to up our A game. That's all I gotta say. So I guess if it's okay, I'll start and we'll do some introductions and then tell you about the program and how we can assist you. But most of all, know that even after we present tonight, you're going to have our contact information so that you can reach out to us. So introductions. I'm Officer Lori Reyes, and I've been with the department 26 years. I started this program, the Montgomery County Police Autism IDD unit, in 2004. So a long time ago, 20 years ago now. And Amy, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. I sometimes let Amy speak. I usually talk right over her. So Amy, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them how awesome you are.
Yes, my name's Amy Stoughton. I've been a police officer also for 26 years. Lori and I actually went to the police academy together. I'm from Pennsylvania, and I came down here for the department. I was injured 2.5 years ago, and after the injury, I was able to come up here and work with Officer Reyes in the Autism IDD Alzheimer Dementia Unit. And we'll get into it a little bit further what I do, but nice to meet everyone and see everyone.
Thank you, Amy. We're very fortunate to have Amy with us because for a long time it was kind of a unit of 1.5. So it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, as you'll see, hopefully from this presentation, all that we try to provide. So if you guys want to start the PowerPoint, okay, there we go. All right, so the unit, it is the longest titled unit in all of Montgomery County Police, but if you name something such a long title, they can never get rid of it because you serve so many people. So it truly, there was a time when people wanted us to have some acronym, and I said, I'm not having an acronym. This is who we serve, and if you search online, you need those words to come up, and so families know, you know, what Montgomery County Police is doing. So the unit, it began in 2004. I was pregnant with my second kid, and as a pregnant officer, sometimes they say, you know, we need you to work on this. And at the time, so actually it was 2003 when I started. The unit began in 2004. So at that time, the work that law enforcement did with individuals without disabilities, but specifically autism IDD, was very minimal. It was like mandated training sometimes, and that was in 2004. So what the unit has done, it began because of wandering and elopement calls. So it began because of wandering and elopement, but now the program offers a very broad approach, from handling situations that might be very mundane all the way up to handling individuals and working with families who might be in crisis. So we really run the whole spectrum of, so to speak, of interactions. So our unit, we provide training to all of our officers, the recruits coming in, you know, the ones who sit in the classroom and have their eyes wide open, learning things, all the way to those officers that have maybe been on 20 years. So our training of officers is very robust. We also train officers outside of Montgomery County. We work a lot with Pathfinders for Autism. We partner with a lot of people. So we also do training for individuals. Amy and I are in classrooms, we're in MCPS. We are working with individuals from the cute little peanuts all the way up to those that are headed to college learning experience at Montgomery College and navigating their way through, you know, this world. So we offer training for caregivers, kind of like what we're doing tonight. And then we partner a lot with our MCPS folks all the time. We provide follow-up. Amy's going to talk about what she does with follow-up. A statistic that might be kind of amazing to hear is that last year we had about 600 follow-ups with families, and this year we're probably on target to have over 1,000 follow-ups. Amy will talk about that. We provide the education, again, just being in our schools and working with individuals, not only about community safety, but how to have positive, safe interactions with law enforcement, because so many of our guys will have interactions with law enforcement, be it through wandering and elopement or many different reasons, many different ways. So then last piece, most important, the response piece. You can't tell people to call 911 if they're not going to get a good response. So we really work on a constant basis with our officers and through follow-ups to say, hey, what can we do different? What we can do better? How can we improve our unit in general? So next slide. So some of our initiatives, we again, one of the things we're most proud of is our work that we do with MCPS. Both MCPS and our private schools, we provide assemblies. I created an assembly. A young kiddo was being bullied at Gaithersburg Middle School. His mom reached out to me, and this was about 6 or 7 years ago. His mom reached out to me and said, my son's being bullied at Gaithersburg. What can we do? I said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put on a whole assembly for the entire school on why Montgomery County Police has an autism IDD unit and what you can do, what students can do to lift up those who, you know, maybe different than them, or maybe have their own challenges. And I called it looking out for the underdog, because not because our guys are underdogs, but because anybody could be an underdog, and just had an assembly on just being a good person and looking out for those that may have challenges from time to time, because heck, we all have challenges. So something we're really proud of. We talked about the follow-up of calls. And a big part of what we do is partnering with other agencies. You know, how can we get the most resources to those that are in need? Is it Pathfinders for Autism? Is it Down Syndrome Network? I know many of you, even on this call, know that Amy and I will reach out to figure out how are we getting help to an individual. And we are the first agency to ever have a unit of this type. So we're really proud of that. Next slide. So I wanted to go into it. I told Amy we'd make this kind of short and sweet tonight. The unit did begin because of wandering and elopement. So we're gonna kind of cover that. We're gonna go through it, not quickly, but kind of in a quicker fashion than we usually do. But I want you to leave this knowing that you're gonna have our information, our email, all of that information, that if you had questions regarding either wandering elopement or our response in a crisis, you can reach out to us anytime. You could probably text me after this presentation, and I'm gonna text you back with an answer. So wandering and elopement, really important. Right now, some statistics that really matter. We average about 3 to 8 fines a week. 3 to 8 fines a week, where we're locating individuals, either autism or another intellectual developmental disability, before caregivers have called us to report. And oftentimes we're locating individuals in very dangerous situations. Some recent ones have been very dangerous, in the middle of intersections, on Route 29, in the middle of Shady Grove Road, headed towards pools or ponds. So 3 to 8 a week is what we're seeing in Montgomery County, that we're finding individuals who are lost. So a couple of things to keep in mind. First and foremost, please don't wait to call 911. Please share with all your parents, every caregiver, other parents that you're in contact with. Do not wait to call 911 ever. You can call us right back and say, oh, he was hiding in the bathroom, right? You call us back, it's fine. Just make sure that you call us right away. We have some other prevention tips here. You know, door alarms, we like the ring alarm, structural barriers, you know, applying for that LISC grant and getting funding for these things through Maryland. All great ways to put safety measures in place if wandering is an issue for you. Tracking, I have kind of a love-hate relationship with tracking. If you wanted out of a conversation, I'm happy to talk about it, but again, it's got to be the last step in safety. Preparing a 911 script, meaning, holy moly, your child's missing. What are you saying to 911? All of this is on our website, that it's at the end of this presentation. And then, of course, working with your school. If safety is an issue, putting it in the IEP, making safety part of the IEP, asking your principals, asking those who are caring for your child, what would you do if you had an elopement from school? All of those questions to ask ahead of time. Amy, did I leave anything on that?
No.
Anything you want to add? Amy, do you want to go over this one? This is the response, my patrol. Amy, again, was in patrol 25 years, so she's handled a lot of these calls. So do you want to do this slide, Amy?
Sure. It's kind of nice, you know, I was out in patrol for 25 years and handling some of these calls. And once you're finished the incident, you go on to the next call. Whereas now I kind of have the luxury of reaching out to these families and actually developing a close relationship with them. So it's very meaningful. The most important thing that we talk about with families, and when I'm calling families and doing follow-ups, is like Laurie said, don't wait to call 911. There's a host of reasons. Parents, they're afraid. They think we're going to turn them in to Child Protective Services, or think maybe that we just will think they're terrible parents or terrible caregivers, and that's not the case at all. And I constantly am reassuring parents that, like Laurie said, call 911. If you turn around and he was just hiding behind the couch 5 minutes later or 2 minutes later, even, you can just pick up the phone and call 911 again and just cancel the call. Things to think about is having that script ready, what you're going to say. And in our packet, like Laurie said, there's an information script of things to tell 911, like what the child's wearing. Do they have autism? What are their symptoms? What are their triggers? Where are places that they may go? Have they been talking about something recently that they're curious about? Maybe perhaps they're going to go to that location. Have they mentioned recent trips or places that they're just curious about? You want to be as open and honest with 911 when you call. One thing I can say I've run into, and Laurie and I have run into, is sometimes, because I think people they're hesitant to call 911 in the first place, but then sometimes they might not be as truthful about when the child left. So instead of saying, oh my gosh, my child's been gone for 30 minutes, they might say, oh, he or she's only been gone for 5 minutes. And the reason that's so important is they can get so far so quickly. So if you're saying they've been missing for maybe 5 minutes, our officers that are getting dispatched to the call may not spread out, or the perimeter might not be as wide or encompassing as if you say, hey, they've been gone 30 minutes. So it really helps, and it's really important to be as honest and upfront as you can if you ever do have to call 911. And be as descriptive as possible. Don't use phrases like moderately impaired. Just plain language. Can they cross the street? Will they go seek help? Will they know to go up to an individual, or will they go and hide? You know, anything that you can think of that's going to help those officers find your loved one is very important. You know, can they cross the street? Do they know the bus system? Do they know the transportation system? Just things to think about, you know, if you're possibly ever in that situation where you have to call 911. And make sure that not only you are familiar with what you're going to say, but let's say your grandparents or the grandparents or the neighbor or a friend's going to be watching your child. It's always important to educate them and let them know also what they would want to say if they have to ever call the police. Let's see. And if also with the schools, we stress this with the schools, especially if the child or child gets out of school, it's very important to contact the parents immediately. Obviously the police you want to call first, but then contacting the family, because they again might have some more information to provide. I think I pretty much hit everything here.
Good job, Amy. I think, yeah, all of that. So important. And Amy, I know, do you want to just continue this with kind of like your patrol experience?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of parents I know have when your child's missing, it's traumatic. They're scared. They want to go out and search. Of course, that's the natural reaction. But make sure that at least one person stays where the child was last seen, so that they can be the initial contact with those officers, or that one officer that might respond. Because typically what happens when a call goes out, there's going to probably be one or two officers that may actually come to your home. And it's not uncommon for them to search your home again. A lot of parents, you know, they question, well, why did they search the house? There's many times that we've responded to calls and parents or grandparents say the child's missing, they can't find them, they've been gone, and we search the house and actually find them hiding in a closet or hiding downstairs. So that's not uncommon if that would happen. It's good to have a picture ready to provide the officer that arrives on scene, because we have the ability now with our computers and technology to share that picture so that the officers that are out there searching can have an updated picture of your loved one. Let's see.
I
We
think you
went over-
covered that, Amy.
Yeah, we went over the plain language, and that's very important to make sure you're just using simple words, because not everyone would know what ASD stands for. So make sure you're saying my child has autism or my child has Down syndrome.
Yeah, also a good point. We actually we had our recruits, no, our CIT, our mental health officers, we teach the two. We have officers that go through a very extensive class on mental health. And we asked if we could also include autism IDD familiarity and interactions in that. And Amy and I asked the class, do you know what ASD means? And no one knew, maybe one or two people. So also very important to use, common terms when describing your child, especially to first responders. All right, next slide. Amy, so I'll start a little bit on the follow-up and then I'll give it to you, Amy. So some of the things that we offer, so for a follow-up, we try to contact every single individual that has an interaction with law enforcement, be it from wandering and elopement to crisis in the autism IDD community. We try to do everyone, but in 1 week, my sergeant estimated we had 27 calls involving individuals on the autism spectrum alone, 27 calls in 1 week. So we think we average about 2 a day. So we do try as much, we're not getting to everybody, but we're really trying our best. So part of the follow-up of the unit could be the home visit, providing a Montgomery County Police wandering safety kit, but mostly, and I'll let Amy talk about what's the biggest thing you do, Amy, when you reach out to a family for a follow-up, be it wandering or crisis.
The biggest thing, and we are only police officers, but sometimes you almost feel like a social worker or a counselor, because some of these, the first thing I start off with when I contact a family or a school, is I ask how the parents are doing, because like I said, it is such a traumatic incident for a mother or a father or a grandparent to lose a child or have a child walk out of the house and them not know it. It's you're terrified. So basically the first thing we talk about is Mom, how you doing? I know this was a tough event. How you feeling today? And then we'll talk about the child. How's the child doing? Sometimes these parents just need to have someone who's going to listen, and someone that's just going to provide a listening ear and a caring heart. And, this does hit close to home to me. We also do Alzheimer's and dementia. My grandfather had Alzheimer's. So I love reaching out to the families and talking to them and just developing that relationship. So it's we'll go into the calling 911 and all the safety tips in the home, but the biggest thing is just being that ear, listening to concerns that they might have, questions they might have, and just letting them know that they're not alone, and that there are so many families out there that are experiencing the same kinds of issues and challenges that they do.
A big thing we do as well is coordinating with MCPS. We really try to make sure, for instance, if there's a young kiddo that we found over the weekend or what have you, myself or Amy will make sure that they get a safety kit, either dropped off to the school or to the home. We also utilize our MCPS staff to help us identify kiddos that we find that we can't identify. So it's a really good team of that officer and school interaction to help our folks. And then another thing that we're seeing, Amy and I are seeing, is our guys, our older individuals who sometimes, have autism or another intellectual disability, possibly making some really bad choices. And we're trying to keep them from getting into trouble, getting to the point where they could be in real legal trouble. So we come up with strategies. We work with the families, we work with the schools. We do check-ins to say, how's that student doing, to try to keep them from getting into further trouble and getting into our justice system there's so many police officers who are really working hard to come in between so that that individual doesn't make a bad choice that will ultimately land them, you know, on that path. So we really, myself and Amy and the other school resource officers really try to do that. So we have a good partnership there. Amy, did I miss anything? Almost
Nope.
there. Okay, next slide. Just a few more, I think. So we share this because this is something we teach our officers, and we say so a couple of things we teach our officers: never underestimate what a person with, you know, a disability, with autism, with IDD is capable of, meaning as it relates to wandering and elopement, but also as it relates to our autism ambassadors that are going to college and playing, you know, football at Watkins Mill High School. So never underestimate encompasses a lot of things. But in this case, this is something we share with our officers. This young man actually placed bed pillows in and put a comforter over top, and he managed to wander from Germantown all the way to Wheaton. So using public transportation as a young man who has autism and is non-speaking. So, you know, we teach our officers never underestimate, and that's just one example of this young man who got quite far. We had over 100 calls involving his elopement. So we love this young man, and we'll be there the next time that we have to search for him. So, all right, next slide. Tracking, again, I have a love-hate relationship with tracking. It's getting better, but it really has to be the last step in safety. Don't use tracking and not call 911. It's not always reliable. The battery could be dead. Many different things. So use tracking, read the reviews on any products, but don't look on your own with just tracking. Make sure you're also calling 911. All right, next one. So this is our safety kit. The shirt we designed about 15 years ago. And please understand that this shirt is designed only for those that cannot speak and are in immediate danger. So this is for our individuals that are going to be wandering into streets or in very dangerous situations and cannot speak for themselves. So the safety kits, we are very deliberate in who we provide them to. We also go over safety information in conjunction with providing the kit. So we don't just drop off kits. We have a conversation with the families, with all involved, so that when they receive a kit, they've got the whole package, knowing to call 911. So that's just part of our outreach, is a tangible kit that says, we know that this can happen. We're here for you. Here's some safety information. Next slide. Okay, so here's our contact information. You can always email one or both of us. I had my cell phone up there, and we do try to make ourselves available if you had questions or concerns in addition to tonight. I also say make a contact with our information, because maybe you don't need us tonight, but maybe 2 years from now you think, oh my gosh, I'd really like to speak to them, and you would already have our information. But Amy might be retired. We're trying to get Amy a job with our unit after retiring. But I'll still be around, but we're trying to keep Amy on because she's been amazing. So that's it. I think that concludes our presentation. If anyone, I saw some questions pop up.
I'd like you to be a little bit more excitable.
I know. I get a little passionate, and I talk with my hands a lot. So over Zoom, it's very hard to keep my hands, you know, to just be quiet hands. So no, thank you guys for letting us come tonight. And we love what we do. And there's the brochure. So there's the QR code of the brochure. So if you took your phone and took a picture, and then the link pops up, and you would have access to the unit brochure and website.
All right, one last question for you. And Mary Beth, I don't know if you had an opportunity to reach out to Lori and our new friend Amy. Do they have a table at our resource fair?
I I don't know. I don't know what they did. What was the date? I think there was a conflict.
Okay, May 11th.
Yeah, I'll look. Because I'm out of town May 11th. So it's a Saturday. So let
you
me
hear
do
me?
this.
Yes,
Can
we
you
can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, we did send you guys an email and you responded back that you couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, you guys.
no.
Yeah, I had another commitment. So, but always provide our information. And heck, even at that day, if you needed to text me with a parent who had a question, I'll always answer a text back almost immediately.
If you want to provide us with any information, that would be fantastic.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
will.
there's also a countywide safety fair. So I'll just go ahead and say yes. We bumped heads when we rescheduled, and we didn't know it, and they didn't know it. So there's a process upgrade right there. So thank you for pointing that out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did. But if you have materials, we will happily put them out there. We can pick them up from you, or however we can work that out. But I just think the information that you bring is so important. And I know that there have been a few cases that you've helped me with as well. So, Amy, I'm now bringing you into the family, so we're happy to meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
All right. Okay. Just want to ask one more time if there are any questions for either Officer Lori or Officer Amy at this time. Were there any questions? If you drop it in the chat, we are happy to ask. Are there You got it.
Are there window clings for I couldn't see what the last part was.
Autistic drivers.
Oh, okay. So, oh my gosh, this person's like a plant in the audience. So we work with Pathfinders for Autism, and we have a class. So Pathfinders for Autism, we have a class Wednesday, May 1st. We're partnering with Prince George's County. We have a mock traffic stop and drivers class for individuals who are drivers who have disabilities. And that's on the Pathfinders for Autism website. They have other times and locations. There's a webinar portion and then an in-person mock traffic stop where you also can receive the blue envelope for drivers with disabilities. So I strongly encourage you to get on, at least look at the Pathfinders for Autism website and look under the mock traffic stops, and you'll see the dates for those classes. And they probably are even better to go to than, or you would get a lot of information, but we don't have a cling for drivers. But if you wanted to reach out to me regarding that, send me an email and I'll give you more information on those dates for our mock traffic stop classes.
Excellent. And so you are lauded in the chat. I see one other question. Where's the special education fair and time? It's at Blair High School on May 11th from 10 to 1 o'clock. And for all of our other partners that are here, I am also inviting you. I think many of you we have contacted. We certainly welcome you to be a part of that day. Our success is certainly attributed to our partnership and collaboration. So please do not hesitate to reach out to Mary Beth Mataranis. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to Diana Wiles or Stacy Heinze, who's also with us tonight. Or Amy Kropp. I know Amy is not with us. All right. It is now time to unmute Stacy Heinze.
Yeah, I'm already ready. This is my time. But we do appreciate, please take the time to click on and share your feedback with us. I want to thank our guests tonight. Your information was so helpful and truly, our agendas are driven by your feedback. So keep it coming, and thank you so much for taking the time to share those with us. Our last meeting of this year is May 30th. So 1 month, and we'll have our last one for this year. But again, keep the information and feedback coming, and we'll be starting to plan for next year right after we finish next month. So please share your ideas. And thank you again to our guests. I have been jotting down the notes and the links, and so we will upload these to the website so you can access this great information.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Heinze. And Ms. Wiles, I want to make sure that I give you the last word after saying thank you to all of our presenters, and we look forward to continuing the partnership to receive information. Ms. Wiles?
Thank you, Ms. Murphy. And thank you to all of our presenters. This was truly interesting and necessary information that you shared with our community. I would encourage all of the participants to let your friends, neighbors, community members know about SECAC so that we can grow the number of people who are participating in this meeting. It's important. There's invaluable information shared. So please share, tell them the date to the next meeting. And hopefully we will have even more people getting this great information so that we can continue to support our students with IEPs. Thank you and have a good night.
Good night, everybody.